We just had the biggest solar flare in over 100 years. This solar flare ranked 29 on a scale from 1 to 10. How does that even happen, right? So it was so powerful. The last time we had an event similar was the Carrington event of the 1800s, where all of the telegraph lines and the Morse code wires had such surges of energy moving through them, they all set on fire. Well, not all of them, but right, there was fires all over the world. So this one luckily wasn't earth directed, so otherwise we probably would not have internet right now. Who knows, right? All in divine timing. We are right in the 2222 portal. We are inching our way in a couple days to the 12th dimensional activation on February 22nd. I'm Roxanne, this is EARTH1111. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to sign up for free on EARTH1111.com and meet your soul family. We have hundreds and hundreds of people just like you from all over the world. So please come join us. Okay, I want to get into now ascension symptoms. As we are moving to higher frequencies, we are having old density come up to the surface. So old injuries, old stuck emotions, things we haven't looked at that we pushed away our whole life. And of course, this is not just from this lifetime, right? All of us, of course, have those traumas from childhood, but we also are holding ancestry DNA or ancestry trauma in our DNA. So all the things up the line that our ancestors went through is also being pushed to the surface right now for us to heal. We get to be the ones to heal all that stuff in this timeline, in this lifetime. And this is our service to creation and the universe, the multiverse. And of course, we also have all the stuff from our past lives, but really there is no time. So our past lives, we're actually living simultaneously right now. You are living, right? Your soul is literally living in multiple different lifetimes on different dimensions all right now. That's how weird it gets. And again, I go into a lot more on my course. Let's just get into now, for this video, a lot of the ascension symptoms, because I haven't done a video in over a year. I just kind of realized. So I want to talk about what ascension symptoms are being felt during this powerful month, because man, there's just been so much going on. I've been doing non-stop grid work and gatekeeping. There's just so much going through the field. So lots of soul parts being healed, lots of activations, and you're probably feeling exhausted. But yeah, anyways, let's just start at the top and kind of work our way down through the body, because this is going to be focusing more on physical body ascension symptoms, which is really light body symptoms, where our physical body and our DNA is changing. So at first, our consciousness ascends and activates, and then our physical body has to come with us. So this is how powerful ascension is. It's not just this, very smaller thing we have to do. We have to have every morsel of us recoded to exist in a different point, in a different location in the time-space continuum. We have to actually exist out of time. So again, beyond the point of this video. But you're probably hearing really loud ringing. So really high-pitched. So some will call this tinnitus. But this really, so especially right now, we tend to hear all the frequencies going on. So it starts out, usually you hear ringing in one ear, and it could last for maybe about 5 or 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So that kind of goes on for a few years. But a lot of you are now hearing that constant hum of the highest and the, just the highest pitched you can possibly think of energies. Now what you're hearing, so it's not just tinnitus. What you're hearing is the music of the spheres. So what does that mean? We are actually hearing the geometry patterns, the waves, right, of the frequencies that are spinning that are the dimensions. So the spheres are actually dimensional plasma fields. And we're hearing all of the geometry patterns, which is the sound of that field. So right, it's just like music, right? Music has geometry patterns that create different tones. So we are literally hearing dimensions. And right now, of course, because we have an influx of a lot of higher frequencies coming in, so a lot of higher dimensions are being activated. And plasma is really just encompassing the entire planet right now. You're probably hearing, like I said, very high-pitched energies. It started for me, like I said, just with one ear, either or back in the day. So this is like 20 years ago, or maybe all my life really. But maybe about 5 to 6 years ago, it started out with like a low hum. And I always thought it was, the government or something, right? Directing something at me, because there was this hum I just could not get rid of. And it was quite a low hum at the time. And over the years, it has systematically gotten to a much higher frequency. So right now it's so high, it's like well beyond one of those dog whistles. Like I'm talking well, like it is, I can't even describe it, right? So a lot of you are hearing that. Our eyes too undergo a lot of changes. The optic nerve, which is really where the eyes connect, is being recoded and changed along with the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, because you are integrating the third eye with your physical eyes. So a lot goes on in the middle of your brain, right in between the two brain hemispheres. So you're probably feeling a lot of, just weird things going on, and maybe even clicks going on, right? So you might be hearing different clicks, or having your eyes where you can't focus sometimes. You might be seeing flashes of light, haze, particles. So of course, more advanced ascension, we start seeing geometries and spirals, and like we're going through a tunnel. And like I said, it goes on and on and on and it starts out quite, with quite big geometry patterns, which are really lower dimensional, lower frequency. And as we embody higher frequencies more and more and more, and our DNA changes, we're able to see microscopic grids. Like I'm talking, it's unbelievable. And a lot of you can also see that when you wake up in the morning, when you look at a wall right as soon as you're coming out of a dream. See if you see geometry or if you see a color, because it starts out with just, for me, I'm coming out of a portal, and the portal was always a certain color. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm like dreaming and moving through different grids or different chakras. And then it changed to geometry, and now it's like I said, microscopic, tiny geometry patterns that are just like unbelievably detailed. So your eyes, for a lot of us too, our eyes having issues, right? That, can be a scary thing, because you think, am I going blind? You're not going blind. So know that you are seeing density, you are seeing light being fractaled all around, because we are seeing geometry patterns and grids, and we're seeing other dimensions. We're becoming multidimensional. So remember, your third eye is merging with your eyes. So you're going to start seeing many dimensional realms superimposed all over, really all shape-shifting at the same time as seeing your physical 3D existence. So it gets weird. Like you start seeing, like I said, multiple dimensions all at once. And it gets a little, hard to handle after a while, right? Like very, just overwhelming, because, we're used to a very simple life. The 3D life is, quite simple compared to managing all these multidimensional aspects of self. And the actual ascension symptoms are going on because we are integrating these higher frequency geometry patterns, right? You're connecting all the dots within your actual physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your infinite bodies, right? These are all the different aspects of self that are existing multidimensional all at once. So yes, it can get overwhelming, and the changes are just unreal, because they never end. But know that If you're experiencing negative ascension symptoms, right, know that usually it's telling you that there is an imbalance within you, right? So there's a certain part of you that either you need to surrender to, right? You are resisting the changes. You might have a lot of toxicity in your physical body, so you need a cleanse. You might need to just be in your heart more, have more love, and be in less stress, right? There's a lot of different reasons why we have ascension symptoms, but we don't need to suffer with them. So for me, I suffered with them, but now I know better. The ascension symptoms don't have to be that strong. And if they're overwhelming, where you can't breathe, where you're having, heart palpitations, things like that, know that what can you do to prevent that next time, right? Because we don't want to get ourselves to the point where we're having to react and, react to an emergency situation. Instead, we want to try to prevent these blockages, knowing that energy has to move freely through your circuit. Anywhere that you have density, so for me, I see them as like a lot of wormholes tied up in knots, right? Energy just hits there and it starts, moving into other areas of the body and creating more issues. So it's all about healing your trauma, right? Healing your physical body, cleansing and purging of the physical body. So that's really a lot of what ascension symptoms are, especially at the beginning, right? At the beginning, we have a lot of just purging of the physical body. Massive headaches and migraines, and especially pressure at the back of the head, pressure in the temples. Like I said, you might feel that, feeling like you have like a stroke or something, where you feel like there's a knot in your brain or in that pineal gland area. So that, of course, is a blockage. So again, it's all about unlayering and uncovering all the blockages and trauma that we have layer by layer by layer. And that's why we get ascension symptoms, because we come across a blockage and we're having issues now clearing that. So we need to support our physical body. We need to support our emotional body. We need to be in control of our mental body and not allowing ourselves to go into fear that, oh my God, I'm dying. Or, it really is a mastery of making sure that you try to stay in neutral, in that observer state, because that's where you can then have your body go into rejuvenation mode. Right? If you're always in stress, freaking out about every little thing that's happening to your physical body, well, it's going to be harder. And again, I went through this, so I know it very, that's the thing, is we can master ourselves and allow, right? We are the collective consciousness of all these parts of us. So know that you can be that parent, that loving guide for all the parts of your physical body that are in fear, right? Every one of your organs has a soul. Every one of your aspects has a consciousness, has its own soul, its own spirit. And so all of this is reacting to you. So we need to try to stay calm, try to be in our heart, try to really take care of yourself, because then you guide all the parts of you, right, that are going through a big change. Your body knows what to do. We just need to get out of the way, support it, and allow ourselves to actually be able to flow with these changes, to flow with the energies, instead of suppressing it, resisting it, fighting it, and numbing it. So another issue too is people, having an issue and then running out and grabbing some medication for it. That's just going to prolong your issue, because your issue is coming up to the surface. Know that as we are, right, as we're embodying spirit and source, everything that is out of alignment with that will come up to the surface. This is happening in your physical body, it's happening in your life, it's happening in your relationships, and of course on the planet and in the world. That's what all the craziness is. So try to really be that one that, that is in surrender mode, but also that is taking care of you and nurturing and loving the parts of you that are freaking out. So anyways, I kind of had a little side note there, but let's get back to now some of the ascension symptoms. So like I said, migraines, headaches, what that usually is we have a whole bunch of density knotted up. And so we need to bring light into that area. So if you do have a tension headache or migraine, try to visualize golden light breaking up that area, right? So what we're doing is we're breaking up all that density that's stuck, that's creating that pressure. So wherever you feel that, that issue, that pain, try to always be the one that, I can heal this part of me, right? So always bring light into anywhere that you have pain. And then you might clear that and it might lead to another area. Because usually pain expresses itself somewhere, but the actual core of that pain, right, the core of that trauma might be in a totally different area of the body. But that's just where we're having it expressed because we're so out of alignment, the energy is maybe pooling in a certain area. And so that's the pain we're feeling. But it might be from something totally different. And that's why things like soul retrieval, trauma work, healing of the physical body and the emotional body, all that really helps, because then we're able to, just have everything clear, and these energies that come through can have a clear channel, right? It's kind of like a river that has a whole bunch of dead wood and dead trees and rocks in it, or a dam. Well, it's very hard for then that water to flow easily, right? Think of that as light, right? It's like fire water, it's plasma. It needs to be able to move freely. So another issue, of course, we have is like really around the jaw, the cheekbones, the ears, all in here. So, you might be feeling that you have your jaw always clenched. You might be grinding your teeth, right? There's just a lot of like density in this area, a lot of tightness. So try to just focus on those areas. Again, visualize golden light coming into them. I use golden light because that's kind of like my go-to, but you can use any color light. Even white light's fine. But visualize light in the area, again, breaking up that stiffness, that density, and allowing it to be, more free. And you'll find that pressure, you can find yourself relaxing and grounding. You might also be having lots of crown things open up. So you might be feeling tangles in the crown, or all of a sudden like your head explodes. I've had that, quite a few times, especially after my merge of my Heros Gamos. So my head would explode sometimes before that. Like, it literally feels like your head is like expanding the size of the universe, like some beyond a cone head. Like it is weird. And then you actually get a crown, then that crown changes to a different crown, then you get like this like ridiculous other types of, different cranial expansion. So I call that cranial expansion. Also the cosmic headset. So like I said, all that type of change right in the pineal gland, in the eyes, the ears, the jaw, the teeth. You feel like your teeth are moving around. You can feel, of course, vertigo as well, right? So again, try to do alternate nostril breathing. That can really help with migraines as well as vertigo. And also pressure breaths. So breathing in the nose slowly and breathing out the mouth like you are blowing up a balloon as you visualize energy coming out of your feet. That will help straighten out your pillar. So you'll go from being all crunched up to you will have space to be able to have more space to breathe and to feel, right? So things aren't as all twisted up. Things will all start opening up and allowing it to flow. So do those pressure breaths in the nose, out the mouth like you're blowing up a balloon, or alternative nostril breathing, where you close one nostril and you switch as you breathe. Now, it might not take 1 minute, right? It might take an hour. It might take 30 minutes. But trust me, you will get relief. It's all about how much energy you put into something, right? And how much you visualize energy being released into the ground, because that is now straightening your pillar. So makes life a lot easier when we have, you know, these little tiny things that we can do to try to make us, you know, not experience such horrible ascension symptoms, because it really is one of the hardest parts of ascension is, right, the physical body changes. You know, it's scary when we feel like we're dying or like something's happening, right? It's very easy to all of a sudden be like, what's wrong? You know, like I must have some illness or some disease, right? We want to put a label on it, right? And of course, these types of things happening, and people, you know, run to the hospital, and then of course we know what they tell them they have, right? So always try to go into a calm state, and you will find that your symptoms get a lot better. So a lot of tension up in the shoulders, the trapezoids, the neck, the spine, the shoulders, the back, all of that likes to hold tension. And especially if we're someone who's on the computer a lot, who curled forward with the shoulders, always, you know, our vision in front of us, you know, worrying about something on our phone, right? All of these contraptions were created to make sure that you don't have a straight pillar, to make sure your heart's closed, right? All of this closes the heart and closes the circuit. The circuit has to move freely through your spine, really ideally, right? At first we don't feel that, but later on, during more advanced ascension, we will actually feel these energies moving through us. So you might be feeling like you are plugged in like a battery. You might be feeling tangles move through you, or full out billions of volts of electricity. You know, sometimes for me it got so bad because I was resisting it. And I was, right, because we are the acupuncture needles for the planet. So if you're watching this video, you are an energy, a frequency holder. So we need to be clear. We need to be clearing our energy all the time, having our chakras all in alignment. So there's been a lot of times for me where, you know, I would get such a powerful blast of energy that I'd be shaking. I would literally be on the ground, like, you know, almost having a seizure. And again, when that kind of thing happens, get yourself with your spine straight, lay on the ground, try to completely relax every part of you. You know, I said, I've had times where I was literally seizuring. So yes, it can be scary, definitely, you know. But after you go to the hospital a few times like that and nothing's wrong with you, then you kind of learn that, you know, now I know why these things are happening. And so your spine is that, you know, think of that as your circuit. Well, if you have bad posture, if you have, you know, issues with your spine being twisted, or you have injuries, so that's a big thing too, old injuries, where your hips are out, where your back's twisted, your neck's twisted, right? Anywhere that we have a microscopic twist in our actual bones, or a skeletal structure, or our muscles, these things will be amplified when we have massive channels of energy moving through us. So know that old injuries will be coming up big time, and we need to really realign not just our chakras, not just our energy, but we have to realign our spine and our skeletal structure. So it might involve doing things like different yoga or chiropractic exercises, where you are constantly, you know, trying to align all your vertebrae and trying to fix your hips, right? Because a lot of us have hips that are like tilted, front or back, or tilted, and all of that prevents us from grounding properly, right? Because the more you develop your light body and your DNA changes, you become pure energy. A lot of times when energy does get stuck in this, you know, central area of you, right? Because this is your heart, this is the higher heart, this is really the central core of yourself. So energy usually, for me, for many years got backed up from around, you know, maybe the pineal gland to around the solar plexus. So this whole area just got, what I say, bunked up. Just energy just all of a sudden, you know, hit a bunch of blockages, and then that would cause my heart to beat, that would cause heart palpitations, it would cause fear. You know, I'd feel like I'm being like electrocuted, you know, lots of different nervous system issues. And it all stems down to energy piling up in the nervous system areas like your lungs, heart, spinal column. So try to always be deep breathing, doing breath work, stretching, where a lot of us have terrible posture. And all that isn't a big deal as much. Well, of course it is long term, but it's not as big a deal as it is until you start having your Kundalini activated and you start having powerful energies of high dimensions moving through your physical body. And like I said, every little issue becomes a huge issue to deal with. So it's best to do preventative things and not reactive things after the issue, you know, after it's already happening. So purifying the physical body, like I said, through cleansing, through fasting, through healing, very important. So nervous system issues, I did talk about before. I have a whole video on nervous system overload, so watch that video if it's something that's happening to you. But one good herb that I used is motherwort, it was called, and you can buy it as a tonic at any health food store. Some people also said they saw it as an actual dried herb. So that I found really helped with the nervous system, calming the heart, you know, almost like, you know, releasing excess energy. So you had just, you know, a more calm state. So that for me really worked. It was called motherwort. So get that if you're having those issues. And again, watch that other video, nervous system overload. So a lot of spine issues can happen as well, because of course, right, that is your Kundalini energy. That is all your energy has to move through your nervous system. That is your light body. And so your spine really holds, you know, everything has to be in alignment, because if one vertebrae is out because of some blockage somewhere that is pulling your vertebrae out of alignment, then that can cause the whole circuit to have issues. And then you have issues everywhere. So yoga, stretching, really try to get your spine, you know, try to get your posture better. You know, try to almost lean back a lot, try to get to the back of your body, and really try to support your spine. Your spine is doing everything. That is your ascension column that we're building, right? So where am I now? Oh, one big issue, circulation issues. Because you get so much bunked up in this area, you don't have a lot of life force moving out your hands and your feet. So you might be having hugely cold hands, cold feet, you know, issues where your hands and feet are going numb even. I always had an issue on my right side because my energy was, like I said, it was so wonky, it would starve energy in my right leg. And I also had an issue behind my knee. So bring light into your joints, right? Anywhere that you have a joint, all those areas tend to gather up excess energy and tend to have blockages. So instead of allowing energy to just move freely, that's usually where energy kind of gets blocked. So try to, again, use your power of your intention and your visualization to override blockages. So visualize golden or white light wherever you feel, you know, maybe in your knees, your elbows, your armpits, your hips, all those areas. Try to visualize a lot of light. Of course, the heart, the throat, the spine area, all those areas, right? Your whole body. Try to drain energy out. Also, when you do your breath work, try to visualize energy moving out the hands and feet, out each finger. So these are your dragon lines, right? We want energy moving out of each finger. So each of them is a different element. The two feminine elements are the pinky and the ring. So you might find that this part of your hand goes numb as well a lot, because of course everything is forward, right? It's all masculine. Our entire society was created to make you completely run in masculine circuits of energy. Right? This is why everything is thumbs and these fingers, right? Your phone, the computer, everything kind of keeps us in that. So we need to open up this area, really open up the chest, you know, visualize like a flower opening up, your heart opening up, And move to the back of your body. See if you can actually step to the back of your body with your consciousness. That will allow your circuit to connect a lot more, because a lot of us exist either out of the body, right? So your actual soul, your light body, is either out of the body or it's too far forward. We need to be back. So really visualize and lean back a lot, right? Try to really open up everything. Our entire society is about forward, right? The opposite of what we need. So as we're feeling, of course, fear and things moving through us from the grids or from our own traumas, that can also be affecting the heart, right? So really try to master yourself and try to remain calm. Try to parent all the parts of you that are in fear, right? Every part of your body that's going through a surge is in fear. It's looking to you, the collective consciousness of your body. It's looking to you, right, for leadership. Try to be that one to really make sure that you are calm, that you are in that loving state, because that will allow your body to get back into balance. Being bloated, that's a big one too, right? Because your solar plexus is actually merging with higher frequency patterns of the raw system, the God raw system. So all that has to be recoded. And of course, a lot of us, right, when we're healing, we have a lot of ego kind of battles going on. Your ego is really, like, a lot of your ego aspects really come from that solar plexus area of control, of power, of victimization. So it really is an area that gets really worked. And when we have a lot of sun activations coming in, right, that solar plexus, that is where we're kind of, working from a lot too. Like I said, later on, that whole area becomes reworked into new grid patterns, new geometries, and ends up becoming your raw center. And then you could also have, of course, just constant stomach issues, so especially at the beginning, lots of digestive issues, acid coming up, heartburn, stomach aches, diarrhea, nausea. So again, don't take meds for these things, right? Don't take things like antacids or Tums, because it really is just going to change the chemistry of your stomach, and it doesn't really do anything long term. You need to realize that you need to support. Okay, first of all, what are you eating? Are you eating foods that your body is reacting to? Know that you're changing. You need to support, right? Get into that alignment, talk to your body, see what your body is craving. It probably isn't the foods that you were eating before. So know that all those stomach aches and stuff, any type of just masking that with, different drugs or over-the-counter things is going to do nothing but just prolong that imbalance and make it worse. So we really need to get to the source of why you're having stomach aches. So tailbone issues. There's been a few times where it's like you feel like you break your tailbone and it's like you can't sit down, just out of the blue. And like I said, probably a big root chakra clearing. A few times where, for no reason, I felt like I broke my tailbone. And of course your tailbone's, being twisted around because your ground is moving around and everything's being healed. So you can be having lots of lower back pain with that, your hips, legs issues, right? Really, there's just so many different ascension issues. So a scary issue that I had a lot too was not being able to breathe, where you just can't take a deep breath. You can't take a breath, it feels like. And again, that breathing technique of the pressure breaths will really help that, because really it means that there's just a lot of density backed up in here, and there's no room to take a breath, right? You need to make that room. And sometimes it feels too, they can go on for hours or even days where you have to pretty much like manually breathe. So this has happened to me, quite a bit, especially this past year or two, where how your breathing is automated, just like your heartbeat. So you shouldn't have to think about it. Well, there's times sometimes where everything is just so compacted here that if I'm not manually breathing, then I'm not breathing. It is weird. Like, and again, it can be scary because you end up like holding your breath sometimes and forgetting to breathe. So again, I've had other people tell me about this too. So I know it's not just an issue that I have. But yeah, know that all those deep breathing techniques of pressuring to straighten out your pillar will help. Because it really is about everything just compacted. And so you have no room to breathe. You have pressure on certain organs. So we need to make space. We need to make room to breathe. So really, please do that pressure breath. That will help a lot. So another issue is just feeling like you have so much just density in the sinuses. And again, it's all related to that optic nerve, merging with the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. All that area has to clear all the thoughts that you've been thinking all your life, right? So most of us have been using our masculine left brain for way too long. We have thoughts are things. Thoughts are literally these loops. And we have to, for those of us that have been thinking all our lives, overanalyzing in our mind 24/7, we have a lot of density. So that could be causing that vertigo, or it could be causing just being stuffed up constantly in the sinuses, or pressure on the eyes, or, all that kind of thing. So know that lots of changes happen with that cosmic headset. And like I said, sometimes you feel that cranial expansion. You can feel like your head is so big and like you almost have a hole at the back. So it's almost like, the soft spot when babies have a soft spot. It's almost like you have to make room for new expansion. That it feels like your bones have opened up at the back here. So that can happen as well. So again, lots of issues in that lower part of the head, that lower part of the cranium. Always issues, right? That brainstem, think about that. That's where all your traumas are held from your whole body. They're all patterned in that brainstem. So that is your fight or flight. That is your fear, right? That is your basic reptilian self. That's that lowest part of you that is holding a lot of stuff that's being cleared right now. So really lots of issues with the head, lots of issues with the heart, right? We are merging our head and our heart. Literally, we're merging our mind and our heart. So it has to be one unified system. There's a lot going on here, especially with your throat too. Hard to swallow sometimes as well. So every time that you've ever bit your tongue and not spoke your truth and suppressed yourself, there's a blockage, there's a blockage, there's a blockage. So we literally have so many blockages to heal, whether they're on every level. And like I said, from every lifetime that are happening right now, from our ancestry, from our childhood, right? No wonder healing takes forever, right? We think that we've healed something 20 times, it comes back again. But that's because we're healing a deeper layer. Know that healing, right, just like these layers that we have to heal, we can't just get to the inner core. We have to heal all the other layers first to get to the inner core. So much goes on. Heat going through the body, sweating, rashes, lots of those kind of typical cleansing crisis symptoms. So when your body's purging something, right, it can come out in a rash, it can come out in acne, in, the flu or colds, certain sicknesses, having any type of, issue, where your body just wants to purge. Sometimes you could be sweating so much that you sweat through the sheets. You have these you feel that Kundalini fire moving through you. You feel like you're on fire sometimes with these hot flashes. Then later on, when you become fully plasma embodied, you're cold. So for me now, I'm always cold. You have to maintain a colder temperature because you have become like a nuclear reactor. There's so much power moving through you that I constantly feel cold now. So it's funny, I used to be always so hot. Yeah, and when we are sweating, we could be just having these weird smells come out of us, or just tasting metal, right? So lots of weird taste coming out and lots of weird smells coming out of our body. So again, all normal. Don't mask it with medications. Don't wear deodorant, please. Deodorants were created to create toxicity, right? Just let that go free. You know, it might be a couple weeks that you might, be a little smelly, but the whole point is then you got rid of that toxin. Your body's trying to clear itself, and we're the ones stopping it. We're the ones suppressing that natural cleansing cycle. And it can be times as well, I kind of call them dump days, where you literally can't stop pooing. And it's like you didn't even eat that much, but it's like you have no idea where this stuff's coming from, because it's more coming out than you ate. But it's like, okay, one of those dump days, you are literally dumping debris. So we could be dumping proteins from the body, or heavier, denser substances. So not necessarily food. It's weird. Like I said, we can't even just comprehend the whole ascension process, because that's how, strange it is. We're becoming light. It's never happened before in the history of this planet, so science doesn't know about it. And other times, of course, you could be peeing. You could be having excessive thirst. And other times you don't really feel like drinking that much. And other times you feel like eating, right? So I call it soul snacks. Sometimes you just can't get enough food. So remember, your body needs so much energy for your DNA to recode itself. It needs massive amounts of food. Sometimes you're just like eating and eating and eating. You need to sometimes. And that's because you need that excess energy, right, in the form of calories, for your body to do all the work it needs to do on a cellular basis. So don't control your physical body. We have to let go and surrender sometimes, right? Your body's in charge. You're no longer in charge as the ego that wants to, have the hottest body there is. You now have to listen, be secondary to your physical body, who is doing all the work for you. So we have to support the physical body. Sometimes we have to eat a massive amount of food. Other times we don't eat anything. We're very light, right? So sometimes your body needs to purge, so it wants you not eating a lot. So again, listen to your body. You might crave weird food sometimes too. But just know that whatever happens, right, it's all a process. It's all perfect for you. We're all different, unique bodies, unique beings, unique souls that have been, that have been through different things. So whatever you need could be different than someone else. We are reconnecting every subatomic particle, every single packet of light and energy is going to be reconnecting into one massive unified grid, the unified field of source. So nothing can be ignored. We have to recode every single part of us. There's a lot going on. So take care of yourself, you guys, but just follow that inner guidance, right? Follow that inner guidance and allow and surrender. The more love you have for yourself during these ascension symptoms, instead of fear, the easier it is. If you need more support, then sign up for my Stargate Ascension and Alchemy course. I go into detail about the ascension mechanics of the universe, of your soul, well beyond ascension symptoms. So I talk about hundreds and hundreds of different topics in 60 brand new videos that I created, things that will blow your mind. So if you're interested, that is on my website. And also sign up for free for EARTH1111.com, our new social media platform. All different people just like you, meet your soul family. So thanks so much, you guys. Don't forget to share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, like, all that. Thank you so much. I love you so much, you guys. Happy 22222222 portal. We'll see you on February 22nd. All right. Thanks. I'm Roxanne. This has been EARTH1111. Bye-bye.